Hey, today on Woodturning, we're going to have some fun. We're going to turn this into this.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood-turning tools. Made by a woodturner, for woodturners.
So for today's project, I'm looking for the wood. This is something I do quite often. I'll just drive my neighborhood to see if anybody's cutting trees down, because you can go to a park or something and find down wood, but the downed wood is often rotted wood, so it's really no good to turn. So what I'm after is somebody who's been working on their house and doing some fresh cuttings. So we're gonna drive around a little bit and see if we can find something. Oh, this could work. Yeah. Go chat with a neighbor here for a second and talk to him about this. See if I can borrow some wood. Okay, so this is exactly what I've been looking for. Somebody's been working on a tree, cutting branches off and stuff. So I talked to the owner. His name is Jeremy. He actually works for a company that cuts down trees, and he just happens to be doing a little bit of work on his own house right now. But anyway, he's got, to show you here, a lot of stuff laying here, and he said I could pick through it and that I could use anything that I wanted. Here's a good one. That's nice. It's got the little piece of wood sticking out like that. It's been broken off, so that's a keeper right there. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, I think I found some pieces that I like. We'll see what we can make from these. Who knows? It's gonna be fun. There's nothing better than free wood, and we haven't turned green wood in a while, and this is really fun to do. So anyway, I picked my log here, and I like this one because it has a branch sticking out on this point right here. Give it a little flare. I'll probably wind up cutting some of this off simply because it's a little too tall. But with that there, that gives me a little problem. It's gonna hit my tool rest. So let's go ahead and change it out. And I'm gonna go with a shorter one. Robust makes some really cool tool rests. That's what I like. They're not just into lathes. They make all these different accessories that really help you out as a turner, because things always change and you need something different. So you can see how on this tool rest right here, it's stopping short of this knuckle buster right here. So that's going to be very helpful, and it makes it a lot safer than trying to angle a big tool rest across here, because it would be problematic. I do want to get this as close as I can so I don't reach the tool out too far. So what I'm going to do right now is just turn a tenon on this end, because we're going to need to grab this to be able to turn around and work on the top. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the bottom. I'm going to go with, let's see here. I'll probably go with a bowl gouge just to get in there, because it's really kind of roughed up right now. I am going to put a face shield on for a while, because you never know what's going to happen when you have green wood. Something might bust, something might break, you never know. So we'll turn this on real slow. Pick up speed. There we go. So we'll start our cut just like this. And all I'm trying to do is just trim the end flat right now. And I don't need it flat the entire way, because I got to watch one thing. You can see I'm almost off the edge of my tool rest, so I've got to be careful about that. So that's good. So now we're going to come in and we're going to make the tenon. And I want a good sized tenon on this. I love the shavings that comes out green wood. When you're hanging out this far, don't take that full cut. Come in and take a little bit at a time and work your way in. Okay, so we're there. Now I want to make my angle for the tenon. There's my fun tool. We'll just come in here. We'll cut in a little bit, and we'll make the tenon shape. Cool. Brent makes the lathe. Brent makes a really nice live center, which has an adjustable point. I normally keep this almost recessed, so just a little bit sticking out, but in this case, I need a lot of that point because look how crooked this is right here. So if I brought this up as a normal thing, normal point, it's only going to touch on one edge of the round part of the cup. So instead, I want to extend this out a little bit, and then there's just a little screw right there. Just tighten that in there. Now what's going to happen is as we bring this in, that point hits and I have really good direct contact with it. So we're going to tighten this down now, and I'm going to make the shape of the vase first. And you can see I'm digging this in really good because I want it to be in there as tight as possible. That looks good right now. I want to make sure everything's good and solid. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to start with my bowl gouge, and our vase, we're going to start turning away to here. We want to leave it looking like the vase is coming out of the wood, like we carved it that way by hand all the way rather than turned it. That's what's cool about this. So, a couple gotchas in here. I got to make sure that I'm really close to the branches. Well, here's my closest branch that I want to save. So it's going to be coming really close to the end of my tool rest. So I've just got to stay aware of where that is because that could really hurt. And that one's not a knuckle buster, that one's sharp, so it'd cut me. So let this get this going for a minute and see how it goes. Turn the speed down, turn it on, looks good. Bring her speed up. Okay. Now, one of the coolest things about working with green wood is that it's green wood. So everything cuts beautifully, nice and smooth. The shavings are wonderful. And it's really kind of a nice change of pace from working with really